Hello and welcome to Chinwag. I'm Kim from Pooches Galore.
And I'm Carla at Completely Canine.
And today we're going to talk about, does your dog's breed really matter?
Yeah. Is their breed like a determiner of maybe what they end up like as they grow
Yeah,
up?
yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of nature versus nurture.
Yeah. But we
What
should take away the verses.
nature and nurture.
Nature and nurture. Yeah.
It is interesting because a lot of people will, I mean, I'm very much like, I like my spaniels because of traits that spaniels have, but it
Mm.
doesn't define them. So
No,
let's get into it.
let's get into it. I don't think it's too dissimilar to kids.
No.
Like you, you can have a natural what am I looking for? You can be born with certain things because of your genetics, because of what your mum and dad are like, because of what people living in your, I don't know, country have been like when you're growing up. But you can also be brought up in a certain way that affects how you act, think, believe, have good health or not good health.
Yeah.
I
And
think everything's affected.
there's even more to it than that because without putting my psychology hat on too much, your environment will literally switch certain genes on or off. So you can be born
Yes.
with genetics, and then your
Mm.
environment will almost determine which of
Mhm.
those are expressed or not. And
Yep.
that makes a huge difference. And you'll see that in twin studies everywhere where twins have been separated, that they have a
Mm.
lot of similarities, but their environment may have changed certain stuff. Obviously, it's not going to change the way you look or your hair color or your eye color or anything like that,
Yep.
but kind of more about you as an individual. And I
Hmm.
find that fascinating
That is really
myself.
fascinating. Yeah,
I,
I sort of, if I hadn't have gone into dog training, I'd have really loved to go into human psychology and sociology because it is just fascinating. But yeah, you can
yeah,
apply the same similar things to dogs.
yeah, I mean, fundamentally, it's genetics. They exist in the same way in any animal.
Yeah.
It's
Mm.
And so you can have the most confident mum of a litter of pups, but
Mm.
even the ratio of how many males and females are in the womb will affect your dog coming out. Because
Yeah.
if you've got more testosterone because there was one bitch and six males, that bitch
Mm.
will act differently than if there was
Mm.
more females. So there's so many things that
Yeah.
will impact. Or if the mum had a stressful pregnancy, that will impact how your dog
Mm.
even starts life and that whether they're optimistic or pessimistic about life.
Yeah. Did you, is there, so when a bitch is born in a litter with lots of males and there's lots of testosterone, do you find that you do get more scent marking and more
I,
raising the leg and stuff like that?
yeah, I think I will often ask if
I
they
do.
know because
Yeah.
it does you can see it. They'll say, oh yeah,
Yeah.
there was two bitches and five males or whatever the ratio is, and I'll be like, all right, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that plays
Makes some
out.
sense.
It's so interesting how
Yeah.
and it
It's
can.
funny because I
I was gonna
didn't really know about it until a few years ago. And then when someone said it to me or saw it on a webinar, I then started asking and I was like, oh, this is a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. And if
Hmm.
you've got so Millie is a good example of this. She was always scared by the wind when she was little. Obviously, she kind of grew out of it. And I mentioned it to someone who knew her breeder, and they said, "Oh yeah, her mum was just the same." And like that's quite a
Mm.
specific worry in life, the wind.
Yeah.
She didn't like it when the leaves blew at her and stuff. It didn't last very long, but I noticed it, and it just happened to be a, something I raised. And yeah, her
Mm.
mum was also the same. So some things that are
Mm.
quite random will get passed through. Um,
Yeah.
and normally those things don't relate to the wind, they relate more to uh, preservation of life. So
Yeah.
if the mum was scared of something that was particularly dangerous, then they will pass that on to their pups in a, not just
Yeah.
through knowledge, but also through genetics as well.
Yeah. I was about to say that you do tend to find if the pups have come from a stressful parent, that they quite often are more stressy
Yeah.
themselves. Like you said, it is probably a preservation of life
Yeah.
thing with them.
And it could be raised cortisol being passed down when the
Yeah.
mum was pregnant. There's so many different reasons for it. But I do
Mm.
think that you can, to some extent, determine what kind of dog you're going to have by picking the breed that works for you. So I
Mm.
like, personally, lively dogs. I like high energy dogs. I like dogs who've got quite a lot of drive.
Mm-hmm.
That's so I like spaniels. Like
Yes.
they go together. Like I
Yeah.
like the slightly mentalness, and I know that I'm probably going to get that more in a working line of a spaniel than a show line of a spaniel. So I
Yeah.
can, to some extent, dictate the fundamentals of the dog that I'm going to get compared to, I don't know, a greyhound who run really fast, but for short periods of time, and then will happily sleep for a few days to recover from that birth. Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't really work in my household.
No,
We
not for
don't
you
stop
as a
and rest.
runner.
No. And so thinking about when I'm looking at getting a dog, I'm very much like, what do I want to do with them? And then I will try and get a dog that fits. It's not
Mm.
perfect. You are always going to get that anomaly, and you can get a dachshund and walk for miles with it just as much as you can have a spaniel and walk for miles with it. So you can, just because you look at the dog and their physicality doesn't necessarily
Mm.
mean that that's what they're going to be like. And I know loads of people who hike with their greyhounds, and I just couldn't think of a better example off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But it but equally, how much am I affecting that puppy by the stuff I do with it when it's a pup? Thinking
Mm.
about what I want to do with it longer term. Am I using the environment that we're bringing the puppy up in to almost switch certain genes on to make them a little bit
Yeah.
busier, a little bit crazier? Like it's really hard to know where
Mm.
the line is.
Yeah, and I think I'm a bit similar to you, but maybe like a step towards more relaxed because I'm a lab girl. I love my labbies. I like slightly larger breeds because I like to, be able to have that rough and tumble with them a little bit, and they are a little bit more robust as dogs, and I quite like that. For me, it'd be a working lab because I like that kind of doting, teamwork essence
What can
of
I do
them.
for you
So
next?
yeah, what's next? What fun are we going to have? And they're very up for anything most of the time. So that's for me why I would pick breed first, but I would be
Yeah,
very, very careful about the parents as well, because again, it's like health things that
yeah,
I would want to be checking for hip scores, and even that's not a guarantee. I'd be
no,
wanting to make sure that's nothing is being passed down, that the parents or the grandparents did get earlier than they should have done. And I'd be looking at whether the mum's quite nervy or super
yeah,
super responsive to things in the environment. I'd want to know as much as possible about the parents and the dog's genetics so that I can have a good starting point,
yeah,
really. And then you can work through the nurturing and how you make the environment the best place for the dog so that you can bring out the best of them after that. So it's both.
when I first started in this industry, which obviously, as we discussed a few weeks ago, was quite a long time ago, I heard a really good analogy where if you think of a cake, like the cake, the sponge of the cake is just dog. And that is almost the same, no matter what breed, gender, whatever. The cake is just the dog. And then the icing on the cake are those more breed specific traits that have been bred into that breed of dog for generations
Mm.
and generations. And I always thought that was such a good way of thinking about it. So,
Mm.
yes, if I'm working with a spaniel, I might do certain games or certain training with that spaniel that I think they're going to be most responsive to. If I'm working with a scent dog, I'm going to do like more scent work. If I'm, so you're kind of tapping into
Mm.
it, but fundamentally, all dogs can do scent work, all dogs can play
Yep.
retrieval games, all dogs can do gun work, all dogs can do agility. Like it doesn't actually matter.
Mm.
It just needs to be tailored for their kind
Yeah.
of shape and size more than anything. But we
Yeah.
will go, oh, I'm working with an X kind of dog today. I think that they're most likely going to enjoy doing this kind of training.
Mm-hmm.
But then
Yeah,
they'll
that's
go,
especially so
no
when
thanks.
you have a retriever like I had who didn't want to retrieve.
Oh
So,
yeah, golden retriever by any chance.
100%. Yeah.
Literally the worst retrieving dogs in the
They're
world.
just not real retrievers, are they?
Like Sophie, my retriever, used to run up to it and then like lay down. She's like, if I take it back, you're just going to throw it again. So I've got it. But I'm not actually
I can't be
retrieving it.
bothered.
Too much.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
too much.
Charlie
And
would a little bit. He'd do 3 retrieves and then he'd be like, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm just going to sit and chew.
too much effort. They are the worst retrievers I've ever come
Yeah.
across. I can get other breeds that are not gun dogs to retrieve better than a golden retriever.
Yeah. I have some good terriers in my gun dog
Yeah,
classes. They're pretty
like
good.
so many, but not. I wouldn't. I wouldn't go. Oh, golden retriever. Let's do some retrieval games because I just think I don't know if I've got the energy to start this. It's going to be a lot of walking up and down for me if I start to
Yeah.
do this.
It's funny that you say that because they are, and they show off so much. They parade so much. They've
Yeah.
got massive parade instinct. So it's like, my God, show everybody, look at everybody.
Like, yeah, that's great. Bring it back now. Bring it to
Yeah.
me. It's like, no, no, thank
No.
you. No. Yeah. Whereas Spaniels, you have to be careful that they don't play too much. Like they're the other way.
Yeah.
And they're not a retrieving breed as such. They're more for springing game. So it's fascinating how, but also, do you see golden retrievers on shoots? No, not really.
Rarely.
No,
Yeah.
and I'm sure people are listening going, my golden retriever retrieves. Like, I would say you've got the anomaly.
I want a good black lab. That's what I want.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you don't see many chocolate labs on shoots either, do you? I mean, let's be
No, you
honest.
don't. No, no,
They're not.
no.
They're not the ones that people go, oh, I'd love to start shooting. Let me get myself a chocolate lab. I really like the crazy, like to tame that.
Oh, I've got
But
one that used to come to my regular gun dog sessions, and it took us, I think, 8 weeks to teach her to pick up. Like she just wouldn't eat. She was a bit more like she wasn't Fruit Loop, but she was a bit like, oh, okay, but I'd rather just go sniff. Not really bothered about that.
yeah,
And then after she
fell on
picked
my
up,
foot.
she was like the best picker upper ever. So
Yeah. I do find that fascinating though, just on Labradors as a case in point, that you
yeah.
generally have, well, you have four colours, but three main ones. You've got your yellow lab, your black lab, and your chocolate lab, and then you've got your fox red labs. Fox red
Mm,
labs and black labs are your working dogs. They are the ones you're going
mm,
to see on shoots. They are the ones that are, what more can I do for you? How can I make this better for you? Like, what we're doing
mm,
next. Your yellow labs are your companion dogs. They are the guide
mm.
dogs. And this isn't like set in stone, but generally this is
Generally, yeah.
generally how it falls. They are very much your companion. They will work for you, but they're quite happy just to live with you and be with you. And then your chocolate labs, don't even know what to say about them. They are they're just a little bit,
Aloof.
yeah, they're aloof. They're not over, they will learn. They enjoy learning, but they are the crazy of them. They definitely have the crazy gene. But they are all Labradors. They're all fundamentally the same and
Mm,
can come from the same litter.
yeah. I feel like
It's
a
fascinating
chocolate.
how they're so different.
Yeah, I feel like a chocolate is like a, a working cocker in a show black lab's body. It's normally a bit chunky,
Mm.
um, with a slightly unhinged nerve ending somewhere.
But it's just, isn't it just so fascinating that within that Labrador group, there is such a variation on
Yeah,
their personality and what they love about life.
yeah,
I like they're always the one that I fall back to because genetically they're the same, but they
yeah.
their outward expression of that is so different. Like if you
Mm,
want a steady dog, I wouldn't recommend a chocolate Labrador.
no.
Again, I know that there are chocolate Labradors out there who are steady dogs, but just we're talking in quite general terms.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't say, oh, get a chocolate, that'll make your life easy.
And what do you think along the silver charcoal lab
I
line?
don't know. I don't know enough about them. I have to. We've got one that lives
Mm,
across the road from us, and it seems challenging, but it's
Yeah,
quite a
I've had
small.
three. Yeah, I've got three in the school, or have had three in the school, and I wouldn't say they're relaxed. I
No,
wouldn't say very
no,
relaxed
I
or confident dogs. They're not very confident.
no,
No.
quite mouthy. The one, I mean, labs can be quite mouthy as a they just like having stuff
Mm,
in their mouth, but like they always seem to be quite. Whenever I've worked with them, it's always been quite severe biting.
yeah.
So, yeah, they're
Mm,
quite new, aren't they? Like as
yeah.
a
Seems to be a bit of a
colorway.
fashion at the minute, but I don't
Yeah,
think they're supposed to be genetically the most healthy of
no,
options either. So, or neither's chocolate.
no. But I do find it fascinating that I think
Mm,
that's quite a good example of how, and maybe how you're like, if you go into it and you're like, right, I'm going to work a Labrador, so I'll get a black Labrador because I think they're the best for working. And then
mm,
if you get a puppy at 8 weeks, that's a black Labrador, then you are going to put into that dog the thought process of I'm going to raise this dog to work, and how much that
mm.
then impacts on your relationship and how those genetics are then expressed. That would be interesting to look more into. Whereas if you get a yellow lab, you're like,
Yeah,
okay, they're going to be my companion dog. So we're going to do chill stuff. We're going to go to the cafes together. We're going to do this.
yeah,
And if you're just expecting a nutty chocolate Labrador, you're going to lean
yeah,
into that more as well. So that's
yeah,
obviously going to impact on that how you're going to raise that dog.
yeah. Yeah,
That's
that's it. I
interesting.
think if you set the expectations for the breed subgroup
Yes,
that you've got there, then I think if your expectations meet what the dog is coming through as, then that will work for you. It's when you
yeah,
have the conflict and you don't get what you're expecting that makes it a little bit tricky. Like a family of 6 kids with a working cocker
yeah,
is not. It
yeah.
might work.
Well, I got Stan. We were going to do field trials together. He's got field trial champions in his lineage. He will
Mm.
not put something in his mouth at all. Months we worked on that, to the point where I just thought, do you know what? I could keep going with this, and I could get you to do it. I don't think you're ever going to get joy out of this. And if my dog doesn't get joy out of something, then we don't do it.
Yeah.
Like that's how and I wanted to do loads on that. Also, we couldn't go to classes or anything because it was all COVID, and it was just a bad combination. And maybe we
Mm.
could have persevered with it, but 2 years out of training when we started at 6 months was,
That's quite
you
long.
know,
Yeah.
and he just didn't love it. He just didn't get the
Mm.
joy from it. Whereas in his genetics, that should have been exactly what he wanted to do, but he didn't, and that's fine. That's
Mm.
okay. But
Yeah.
he should have done more agility. I should have done more agility with him. He would have been a good agility dog.
Yeah, I
He's
think that's
just
it.
too
It's like
fast.
you can have an expectation of a dog of what they're going to be and how they're going to fit into your life. But again, they are their own selves. They
Yeah,
develop their own personalities as well, depending on what, all of their experiences
yeah,
and wants and desires. And sometimes that doesn't match, but you've still taken on this dog and you have to meet them in the middle. You might be
exactly.
able to borrow someone else's dog and do that sport if it's
Yeah,
what you want to do,
yeah,
or you might go, okay, I'll try something different to what I thought I wanted because it would suit the dog better,
yeah,
um and do that instead. But it's worth thinking, so worth thinking about your lifestyle and the breed. I think that's so important
yeah.
for you to do initially, even if it isn't quite the perfect fit. Like if trying to give some examples, like with terriers, if you've got a Jack Russell and you're planning to, I don't know, go to really, really busy places and stay still stationary for a really, really long time, it's probably not the best place for them
Yeah,
because they quite like to, search spaces and
yeah.
find things and chase little things that move. That's what they're bred to do. They love it.
Or if you want a Jack Russell and you really love your garden, it might dig.
It probably will dig.
So you just
Yeah.
need to think, like, what are you,
Mm,
yes, you could do a lot of work. You can get them a sandpit, you can get them to, but equally, there will be a period of time where you're teaching them the new thing and the old thing's still happening.
yeah.
So just thinking about stuff, use the breed temperament guidelines to understand what you could be getting.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised what you end up with.
Yeah. Like if you have a flat, I probably would not recommend a husky.
No.
They like to be outside, and
Yeah.
generally that is a fair thing for you to have some kind of outside space. Or if you love going off on really long, fast running adventures, or you want to run with your dog, whatever, husky might be really good for
Yeah.
you for that. Or you've got 3 dogs and you want to add another one to your group, like a husky is quite a good, they like to be in groups. They
Yeah.
are social dogs generally. So it's worth thinking about that. Whereas your Jack Russell or your Terriers are a little bit more independent.
Yeah.
They like to be on their own more,
Absolutely. So I think what we're saying is you can use the breed temperament standards to understand what the dog is more likely to like. Are they a companion dog? Are they a working dog? Are they going to be that going to impact how easy they are to train? If you have a busy life, it is a little bit easier if you've got a dog who loves to learn compared to like a pug who's just like, no, I'm just going to lay here. I'm not that fussed about learning. It doesn't do it for me. And then think about how your life is going to impact that learning journey that dog is going to go on. Are you going to do loads of training with them, or are you going to do it yourself when you've got time? And how's that then going to impact on the life that they're going to lead? Just taking all elements of your life and putting it together, because that's going to have a huge impact on your dog.
It is, yeah. Yeah. I think that's all we need to say on that. I think that's pretty good, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I just think I really like the cake analogy, that you're going to get a dog and then the icing on the cake is going to be the breed. Don't think of it as the be all and end all.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like how you train them as well, like there's no such thing as certain breeds need heavier training, or certain breeds need harsher training because that's what they thrive on. It's just not a thing.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No one thrives through heavy-handed learning techniques.
No.
I certainly don't.
No. I think some dogs love like challenges.
Yeah.
A lot of dogs love challenges more and more difficult training and precision training because they're more bred for that. Yeah. But there's no reason for you to use harsh methods to get there, because everything can be achieved by using reward-based training. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I hope that's given people food for thought and might maybe explain some stuff about their own dog as well along the way.
Yeah, I think so. It's a good way of looking at things.
Yeah.
See you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.